Intelligent viewers, welcome to Animal World, our co-inhabitants. Today's show features the eminent Australian vegan animal rights advocate, environmentalist, internationally known author and humanitarian Dr. Peter Singer. Dr. Singer, a professor of bioethics at Princeton University, USA, is renowned for his 1975 classic, Animal Liberation, A New Ethics for Our Treatment of Animals, which asserts that animals must never suffer due to human action and that humans should avoid speciesism, or the view that other species are below our level. Many observers consider the book a milestone in the development of the animal rights movement. Over the years, Dr. Singer's work on behalf of animals has profoundly influenced animal welfare leaders such as Ingrid Newkirk, founder of the People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, and has prompted many people to recognize the sanctity of all life. Dr. Singer now discusses how he became an animal advocate.
When I was a graduate student studying philosophy at Oxford, and I met another student who was a vegetarian, and I asked him why, because at that time in the early 1970s you hardly met any vegetarians at all. He really gave me a very simple answer. He said he was a vegetarian because he didn't think we were right to do what we do to animals to turn them into meat. So I started to think about it, and I started to read a little bit about how animals are treated, and I soon came to the conclusion that I couldn't justify it either, and so the only thing really left for me was to say, okay, I'm not going to take part in this abuse of animals, this cruelty to animals.
Dr. Singer saw the suffering of animals on factory farms as indefensible, and thus his views on diet were transformed.
There are many different reasons why I think a vegetarian diet is better, including environmental reasons. But what really changed me into a vegetarian was the suffering that is inflicted on animals, particularly in factory farms. In order to produce the amount of meat that people eat nowadays, we do bring them into very large sheds where they're very closely confined, and they can't behave in a natural way at all in these conditions. Hens, for example, are kept so that they can't stretch their wings even in the cages that they are. Pigs may be kept so that they can't walk a single step or turn around. And this is affecting, not just millions, but hundreds of millions, even billions of animals each year. And it's an immense amount of suffering.
Dr. Singer encourages people to speak out for the compassionate treatment of animals and to promote change with their pocketbooks by buying animal-free products.
The most important thing to do is to not support people who are treating animals in these ways, who are treating them just as if they were machines. And that's really all they are in modern intensive farming. We have to stop supporting this. We have to stop giving them the money that we have been giving them in order to buy those products. We can also, of course, protest to our political leaders that we don't support this. But as long as we keep buying their products, they'll have huge reserves of money in order to persuade the public or mislead the public.
Among the many severely detrimental effects of using animal products is that they fuel climate change.
The meat industry is actually a huge producer of greenhouse gases. The United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization says that greenhouse gases from livestock are larger than all the greenhouse gases from transport around the world. In fact, the single most significant contribution anyone can make personally and immediately to reducing their greenhouse gases is to stop eating meat and dairy products as well. If you can cut that out, that is a major factor in reducing your greenhouse gases.
On August 4th, 2009, Dr. Singer spoke at City Talks 2009, Ethical Living and Choices, a conference on sustainability held in Sydney, Australia. He discussed the environmentally destructive practice of livestock raising and how it drives global warming.
Over the next 20 years, our cattle and sheep will produce a greater contribution to climate change than all of Australia's coal-fired power stations. And that's, in a way, both scary and hopeful, because while it's very difficult to wean ourselves off coal at the moment, as I was saying, we need to do it, we need to get cracking with doing it, undoubtedly, it's actually a lot easier, it would be a lot quicker to wean ourselves off ruminant animals. We just have to stop eating them. It's as simple as that.
Livestock production accounts for 37% of human-caused emissions of methane, a dangerous greenhouse gas that in the short term has a much greater global warming potential than carbon dioxide.
We are very close to reaching that tipping point now. So 100 years is too long a time scale. We don't really have the luxury. We have to focus on something like the next 20 years. And that's why methane is so much more potent than 25 times, because it's still there for most of that 20 years. So here's what the calculations come out. Yes, over a century, methane is only 25 times as potent as carbon dioxide. Over 20 years, it's 72 times as potent, almost 3 times as much.
When we return, we'll present more of our interview with Dr. Peter Singer. Please stay tuned to Supreme Master Television.